Before we begin, Tatiana is going to drop in the chat actually a free resource that we created for all of you guys. It's a free download. If you click that link right there, it's called the AI LinkedIn Guide. It's about a 12 or 13 page PDF that's going to give you some more knowledgeable tips and prompts about how to leverage AI organically, still bringing your own voice to your LinkedIn content and everything that you do. We'll mention it a couple times throughout today's training, but if you click that link, you can fill out the information. It's completely free. You know, Nancy and I are big on giving people an avenue or a direction to go down instead of just jamming a bunch of information down everyone's throats. We want to obviously light that spark, but then allow you to continue to educate yourselves of what you need to do. So if all that is clear so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. You're going to hear us mention that a lot throughout today's training. All right, I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Awesome. Just drop a number 1 in the chat if this is your first time seeing us or one of us on a training. Awesome. Type in number 2 if you have attended any of our trainings. Just, I don't know if there's any returning people here. I did a bunch of trainings for some other networking events. Awesome. So we have a lot of new people that are being exposed to us. So for those that don't know us, my name is Scott and Nancy Aaron, and we are the co-founders of The Time to Grow, which is a company that we own together. We're podcasters, we're authors. Actually, behind Nancy, that's a...
I know, I see how you did it.
So we just released a brand new book called The Feel Good Business Model. A lot of things that we have done. Yes, if anybody needs the handout, Tatiana is going to drop it in the chat so you guys can download that. We're also going to be doing 10 minutes of Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, use the Q&A box throughout today's training, and you're just going to direct all your questions there. If any of you have attended any of our workshops, I'm really good at rapid fire. Actually, we both are. So the last 10 minutes of today's training, so from 1:50 to 2 p.m. EST, we are going to be just doing whatever questions you guys have in regards into today's training about AI and obviously LinkedIn. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not proficient, 10 being extremely proficient, where would you guys rate yourselves on a scale of 1 to 10 of understanding how to leverage AI? So just to let you know, 1, 1, 5, 5. Okay. So the idea of this is to take you guys from going from a 1 or wherever you are to a 10. We want you guys all at a 10, so it's not overwhelming. You completely know how to understand it. Now, same question with LinkedIn. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourselves as competencies as far as how you're leveraging LinkedIn? So, 1, not really leveraging it, 10, leveraging it to its greatest ability. So yeah, so again, anything under a 10, we want to make that a 10. So again, just make sure that you guys do pose all of your questions to the Q&A box. That is where we're going to be answering questions as we go throughout this. Now, along the lines of AI, what is your favorite AI tool that you're currently using right now? And there's a ton out there. We have 2 of our top favorites actually that we're going to show you: ChatGPT, Sinatra, ChatGPT, Perplexity. Yeah. So our 2 favorites are ChatGPT and Perplexity. And we're actually going to show you how these can be leveraged in a very genuine, authentic, and organic way within how you're going to leverage LinkedIn. From helping you write a better profile, to helping you with messaging prompts when you're connecting with people, content creation prompts. So if you're getting stuck on any poll questions that you need to do, anything of that nature, we are going to completely help you with all of that. Now, the way that Nancy and I do trainings are, yes, there's going to be some slides that we're going to show you, but we're also going to give you a live look into how these should be used. And what I'll say is I'm going to turn over to Nancy now because she's the tech person behind everything that we do. And she's one of the big reasons why I personally have fallen in love with AI, how I've kind of leaned into it, and how we hope all of you will lean into it as well. So, Nance?
Yeah. Well, even before we get into the slides, right? Because, I'm a very visual person. So I'm like, show me. We're going to go through some of the basic uses. But one thing that I do want to remind all of you, and you're going to hear throughout this, training, is that we don't want to replace your voice, right? We don't want to use AI to replace you as the thought leader in your business. And I want to remind you that we're on LinkedIn to make authentic and true and real connections. Okay. So, of course, what we're going to share with you are going to be ways that you can streamline, the content planning and creation process. We're going to show you how you can actually use AI to help with messaging, right? So, if you ever get stuck and you're kind of sitting at your computer and you're thinking, how can I engage with this person? Or, how can I message them? So, we want to give you some tips and tools, like Scott said, that are really tangible, right? Things that you can add into what you're already doing on LinkedIn. And I know I did see some ones on there as far as people just getting started. That's okay. And if you're just getting started, there's going to be one of those layers that's going to help you dive in right into the world of LinkedIn and even content creation in general.
Yep.
In a much smoother way. So we're going to dive into the slides now.
And again, really quickly, Tatiana is going to drop in the chat throughout today's training. We do have a free guide and resources for everyone. So again, she just dropped that in there. Anyone that has popped on late, just click on that link, name and email, and you'll be getting a 13-page PDF from us that's basically going to encapsulate everything that we've gone over today. So we're going to share our screen really quickly, and we're going to get this up and going. So the one thing, let me just do this, hide video panel. Just drop a Y or a yes if you guys can see our screen and hear us clearly, just so we know. Okay, good. We don't want to make sure that, okay, perfect. We're seeing a lot of yeses, Okay, great. So again, the name of today's training, how to use AI to uplevel your LinkedIn game, enhancing your LinkedIn strategy using smart technology. Now, just drop a Y or a yes or an N or a no if you are or are not using AI and LinkedIn synergistically to help you with your business. So Y or yes, N or no. Okay, so a mixture of both. So we're not going to try to convince people that they need to be using AI. The fact of the matter is that, everything is changing with business. Technology is going through the roof. And it's really important for us to keep with the times, stay current, stay relevant, and not get left behind.
Yep, absolutely.
Nance?
Yeah. So again, what we're talking about today, obviously LinkedIn is so important, right? For professional networking, generating leads, growing your business, especially if you are one-to-one, service-based, all that good stuff. And the goal, right, of all of this today is to really show how you can utilize, right, AI and some of the different ways to streamline it and be more productive into the process and the strategies that you're using LinkedIn for currently. Okay. So before we kind of dive in though, so again, I do want to stop here and just say like AI in general, and it's something that again, right, I'm super passionate about because I know, right, when technology changes and things grow and obviously things expand, we got to see the benefit. We got to stay on this wave. We got to ride it, right? So, instead of being against AI and all the different things, I really want to share with you guys how you can really just help yourself break through any of those writing blocks, how you can really streamline some of these repetitive tasks that you do. In fact, anywhere there's a bottleneck in your business, I do believe nowadays, you can even ask AI and it can help you smooth out those bumps. But it's really going to help you not only do that, but it also is going to help you enhance your decision-making processes and really improve your productivity and efficiency. And I mean, again, what we're going to show you today, some of you guys might have already dabbled in, but I think for some of the people who are seeing this for the first time, I think you're really going to be able to see how this really streamlines and helps you with so much in your business.
Yeah, the idea of this is to help all of you work smarter and not harder and make the process fun, and really allow you to really step into your own power and leverage this the right way. The other thing, again, just remember, There's a free guide that goes along with this that Tatiana is going to drop through the chat throughout today's training. But also, we're doing 10 minutes of Q&A at the very end. So if you have any questions, just put them in the Q&A section of the Zoom, and then we will just knock them out one at a time. So let's dive in.
All right. So we always like to start. Okay. I know many of you have probably heard the concept growth mindset. And obviously the opposite of that would be not having a growth
Fixed
mindset.
mindset.
So yeah, so I really want to open all of this up to you in a way where, if you find yourself currently saying, well, I don't like AI, or, it doesn't sound like me, or I don't find it useful, or I'm apprehensive. Okay, again, I'm going to ask you, right, to kind of open up your mind a little bit and see things right from that growth mindset. And whenever I say growth mindset, is that you're open and willing to learn something new. Okay. So I want all of you, right, to kind of give permission to open that door to learn something new that I promise you is not going to be going away, right? In fact, I think the owner of Google even shared that AI is probably one of the biggest inventions since fire. So, electricity and even fire. I mean, people have said it multiple ways, but it's really big. It's here to stay. But the thing is if you are using it and you're not getting out of it, really much, it's because you might need to put a little more into it, or you need to ask it additional questions, or you need to really give it, I mean, in all senses, right? You need to give it a little more feedback because it is a language learning model. Okay. And I'm specifically talking mostly about like Chat GPT. And again, it's only as good as you help it to be. Okay. So we're going to talk about a couple tips there, how you can kind of use it in layers and dig deeper. So I'm all about starting with kind of like the big overall picture and then narrowing things down in a little more of a micro type approach.
So just drop a Y or a yes if you are open to going from a fixed mindset to an growth mindset. It's so important to be willing to get uncomfortable, to willing to try new things, to be willing to lean into the fear or the unknown. Because again, just like all of you, we started from day one as well. There were things that we did not know about AI or how to leverage it with our business. And you know what? We took the time, the attention, the energy, and the effort to be on the other side of that. And now we can actually teach it all to you. So at this point, we want you guys to buckle up. We invite you to close out all your tabs aside from this. Take your phones, turn them, upside down, or put them face down so that you're not paying attention to any other notifications than this, because we really want to help you leverage this the right way. So before we dive in, the way, and this little image here, this is called the content hamburger. So I interviewed a gentleman about a year and a half ago that had a PhD in artificial intelligence. It's something that he's been passionate about. And I remember I prompted him with a question. I said, how would you best describe what AI is, or how it can be leveraged with your content? So he said to me, you need to picture a hamburger. And he said, the buns of your content burger is the prompts and what you're putting into AI. The framework, right? The meat of that hamburger is your voice, your content based on the output of what you put into AI. So yes, you can put things into AI and get a certain output, but you should not be copying and pasting. What you should be doing is copying, pasting into a Word document, and obviously bringing your own voice to it, using words that you would use, using phrases that you would use, using that outline and that framework to build your AI content hamburger. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Good. That's the best way it should be used. Now, what can AI enhance, Nancy?
So AI can enhance so many things. Okay. And just to name a few and kind of how we're using it, obviously in context with this training, we can use it for content creation. Okay. And I'm going to actually share with you some prompts, and even in the guide, right, that Tatiana has been dropping, that link for, it's got some sample prompts that even I've used with clients, when we're actually putting together an editorial calendar and planning out different topics for different types of content. Okay. Because I know many of us, right, especially with LinkedIn, we want to be creating a newsletter each week. We might be wanting to write a poll, post each week. We might be wanting to do a video, right? So we can actually use AI to help us plan out all of this. And the beauty of that, right, is planning helps us remove some of that overwhelm, right? Because how much more exciting or how much more, pretty much streamlined is it whenever we can actually sit down and maybe record maybe 4 videos and maybe write the outlines or the, interior of like 4 articles, right? When we know kind of what we're going to be talking about, everything else becomes so much easier. Okay. So I really want to help connect those dots for you guys today whenever it comes to content creation. Also want to share some tips on how you can use AI to help with your outreach messaging, right? Because on LinkedIn, if you aren't if you're just posting content, you're not using it right to the best of its ability. In fact, we want to be doing all the things. Okay. We want to make sure that we're engaging with other people's content. We want to make sure that we're connecting with the right
Well,
people.
you're networking.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. We're making those connections. So it's not just about posting the content, right? We want to make sure that you can also see how to use AI with your outreach and your messaging and your engaging strategy as well. And then also, I know some of you guys are already using it, but we're going to talk about a couple tools and even how you can use AI for industry research, right? It used to be, gone are the days where we used to have to sit there and Google and research and sign up for newsletters just to stay on the cutting edge of latest trends and industry updates. Well, guess what? Now we can use AI and some very simple tools that are even free to look up things in a flash where it used to be a lot harder.
And the reason why we're focusing on content creation, outreach, and industry research is that we've conducted our own market research polls. And time again, people said they've struggled most with creating consistent content, what to say to people when they're reaching out to them, and how do I find out what my competition is up to? Where can I get my industry research from? So if that's clear and if that makes sense so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And again, Tatiana dropped this in the chat. If anyone needs, we have a compatible free resource for you guys to obviously dive in further after we're done today. That'll be dropped throughout today's training. So the 2 key AI tools that we are going to focus on. Now, we can go down rabbit hole after rabbit hole with you guys today, but we believe in keeping it very simple. And we're going to focus on 2 today. We're going to focus on ChatGPT. Now, obviously, there's people that are using the 3.5 version, which is the free version. There are some people that are using 4.0, which is the paid version. So again, you do not have to pay for ChatGPT with some of the prompts you're going to put in there.
So it's worth it though.
But it is worth it. It's not much. It's a business write-off, and it does open up a lot more opportunities for you to utilize the tools. Perplexity, the same thing. There is a free and there's a paid, and we're going to kind of show you how to leverage those. But those are our 2 favorite things. And going back to what Nancy said, content creation, outreach messaging, again, a lot of that can be utilized through prompts in ChatGPT. Industry research, again, perplexity.ai is a combination of ChatGPT and Google. So you're getting the best of both worlds.
Awesome. So let's talk about perplexity.ai, real quick. And again, perplexity.ai is one of those tools where
Yeah, and just really quickly, if you've never heard of Perplexity, just drop a number 1 in the chat, because if it's your first time hearing about it, oh, great, awesome, you guys are going to
that's
love
newbies.
this.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent. So, again, if you're me and, there's a couple things I'll say is, in the Chat GPT 4, you are able, right, to do a lot more, meaning you can drag and drop PDFs, and have it, summarize documents. It can connect to the internet. It can do searching. So ChatGPT 4 can do a ton of things. Now, the benefits of a program called Perplexity, which again, free. Okay. And Scott's actually going to give you a little bit of, we're going to do a little tutorial here shortly. But the way that I use Perplexity, in fact, I even used it as we were writing our book, is what it does is it allows you to search for specific questions, such as, right, please give me the top 10 social media updates or industry highlights, for coaches, right? You can type specific things and it'll pull up articles and content that is current. Okay, right? So like Scott said, it's like Google and ChatGPT, and it gives you a little summary of everything, and it provides the sources, right, that it pulled up. So it has the article, you can click right into it. You can read where it pulled the information from. So it's really great for pulling up and researching in a very quick click of a button and having the sources right there. So again, how you can use this, and it is free, how you can use this is when you're actually sitting down and you're thinking, I want to create, maybe some industry updates each week on LinkedIn. Okay. Maybe let's say, for example, which can you guys actually drop in the chat box? What is it that you guys do? What industry
What
are you
profession are
in?
you part of?
Yeah. So what profession, what is it that you guys do? Because my question, there is, let's say each week, and in fact, again, when you're on LinkedIn, you're trying to really provide value to, obviously your audience. So we've got a lot of different things here, right? So consulting, training, marketing, IT, customer service, so much, right? So if you think about, right, putting yourself in your client's shoes and the people you're looking to attract, what is the information that they care about? Okay. In fact, I work with a lot of health insurance brokers, with my one content agency that we have. And with the health insurance brokers, right, a lot of them are actually trying to appeal to HR directors and CEOs. So you got to think about, right, in these industries and in these specific, companies, what is it that they care about? So they actually post content, right, that's relevant to those people, like how to lead your team, as HR, how can you deliver, an amazing benefit season? How can you really crush it with team culture? Things like that. So again, you can use a tool like Perplexity to research and to pull up some of that information. So, just a heads up. And as far as ChatGPT, I do want to also bring up the point that if you guys have the free version, the 3.5, I believe it is current up to 2021. So it actually cut off, right? That's as much data as it has. ChatGPT 4, which I believe it's about $20 a month,
Mhm.
something like that. ChatGPT 4 uses the internet. It's more current, literally searches real time.
Plus, all of the users of ChatGPT-4 that are pumping current content into it, like how we do, it starts to learn and update all industry trends and all the other information that way.
Yeah. So, again, if people ask me all the time, well, should I get the paid version? Honestly, if you get one tool and you're paying for it, I
Yeah.
totally recommend. I've actually taken URLs, for example. I've taken a workshop URL that I've done, and I said, I want you to work, or, I want you to learn about this workshop. Here's the URL. Please give me some tips or some content that I can create to promote it. And it is able to take that URL, read everything, and then go ahead and give me back that output that I'm looking for. So again, it's a little bit more, well, a lot a bit more robust. So my recommendation would be, it's a good investment. Scott, you want to go over ChatGPT?
So again, with ChatGPT, we're absolutely in love with it, and there's four big things that you can be leveraging ChatGPT with conjunction with what you're doing on LinkedIn. One is conversational AI. So the fact of the matter is that you always want to get into the heads of the people that you're looking to market with. And if you want to find out, and again, what I can tell you is that um, if you're stuck on market research polls, so one of our big strategies is creating conversation through market research polls. Obviously, if any of you have been in the Network After Work group that Tatiana hosts, I'm pretty active on posting market research polls. I want to get a pulse for what people are struggling with, what they need help with, but it also helps with further content. The great thing is you can ask ChatGPT, I'm in the marketing and sales consulting profession. What are some great questions I could ask my audience on LinkedIn and how I can help them? So that will then give you those conversational prompts and those questions that you can ask with the relevant answers. So if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Now, again, if you're joining us late, Tatiana in a second is going to drop a link in the chat. We do have a compatible free resource for you guys that we put together. So you have some, things to take away from this. So she'll drop that in the chat. You click on it, name, email, and then you'll get it delivered to you. The other thing is message drafting. So the fact of the matter is people really struggle. Like, I don't know what to say to my new connections. I don't know what to message people. Well, again, you can use it for message drafting, come up with frameworks of, write something that's more conversational, write something that's more lighthearted, write something that's more directed towards networking. Because you never want to sell and pitch. So you get better at crafting and creating your own drafts to messages by leveraging ChatGPT. It'll help you with some of those prompts. Also, profile optimization. So one of the key areas of LinkedIn, I would say, is your headline, your summary section, and the description of your experiences. Now, I've talked about this before in previous trainings that, the four big keys to a proper LinkedIn profile summary is making sure that it's written in first person, making sure that you have a clear call to action at the end, making sure that it's 500 to 700 words in length, and making sure that you've listed about 10 to 20 different skills. So you can actually take your current LinkedIn summary section, pump it into ChatGPT and say, listen, can you make sure that this is 500 to 700 words in length, written in first person, and please list any skills that you can pull from this so that I can add it into my profile with a proper call to action or a CTA. That's all there, but also networking support. So again, interacting with other people on LinkedIn is paramount. If you are just passively just connecting and messaging and posting here and there, and you're not engaging with your network, you're not going to optimize your time on LinkedIn. So understanding and asking ChatGPT, what are some great ways that I can network within my community on LinkedIn? Someone posted this piece of content. What would be a great response to this piece of content? So if Nancy and I believe in something called ASK to GET, you have to ask in order to get. So if you're curious about something and how you want to leverage it on LinkedIn, just ask ChatGPT. You'll get prompts. Remember, going back to the AI hamburger, you're going to get obviously the buns of everything that you're looking to do. You just got to add the meat in the middle. So if that's clear and if that makes sense, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Just want to make sure you guys are with us. Awesome. Now, so again, using these two tools together, Perplexity.ai and ChatGPT, again, this is going to be great. It's one of those things where, do you want to go over? Did we go over?
Oh, we already, yep. That was just bringing it together.
So again, bringing these two superpowers together will make you absolutely unstoppable. So if you want to be unstoppable, just type me in the comments. So just type me. Yeah. And here's the thing. You have to be willing to learn something new. I do want to go back to something really quickly. Growth mindset. If you're closed off, you're closing your business off. If you're open to learning new things and trying new things, guess what? Your business will always remain open. Now, I'm going to turn it to Nancy really quickly, just so we can kind of cover some of the, crafting tailored outreach messages. And again, we're going to give you a live look of ChatGPT and Perplexity.ai and how they can be leveraged. So first, we want to talk about the crafting of tailored outreach messages.
Yep, absolutely. So, this is where we're using AI to help us, right? Actually break down, our lead profiles, kind of identify key details, different things like job title, industry, experience, interests, things like that, right? So we can actually, and I know this for sure using ChatGPT 4, I've just had the paid version for so long, guys. Please forgive me. I'm not really sure exactly how much you can copy and paste in the free version. But you can actually copy a lot of information and you can say, please create a persona. And I say, please, so you can say, create a persona using this information. You can even give it a name. You could say, name it, lead, whatever, Michael. And then it will create a persona based on any information that you give it. And then at that point, it gets kind of fun because you can actually ask it questions and say, well, great. Now I want you to interact with me as if you are this persona so I can ask you questions. So again, we pasted it, we've given it some information and we've said, all right, great. So let's say your name is Mike. So you can actually say, hey, Mike, how do you like to be spoken to? Or, if I were to send you a reach out message, what are some connecting points or things, that would interest you? You can literally ask it different questions like that. Okay. So I think it's really important, right, that you actually kind of play around with it and see how you can use it because a lot of people don't even know that you can actually create these personas. Now, to take it a step further, right? Right now we're just talking about crafting personalized messages, but you can actually ask it questions like, what are some of the pain points, you're experiencing, or what are some of your concerns as it comes to this and it's related to whatever it is that you do. So for example, I know again, a lot of people, shared that they do coaching, consulting, different things like that. Let's say you're a business coach and you say, Mike, what are some of the pain points that you have whenever it comes to growing your business online? Boom.
Yeah.
Right now, you've got some really juicy information. And again, it just gears you up with more knowledge and helps you kind of dig through those layers a little bit quicker. Where usually, right, we used to just kind of look at the profile and go, okay, cool. Maybe they need some help, but we can get more specific with it.
Yep. So again, Tatiana is going to drop in the chat. If you guys did not get our resource yet, it's compatible to this training. So obviously there's going to be a recording, but also we have a lot of those prompts that are going to be included in that. So if you click on that link, just put your name and email and you'll get our guide. Now, the benefits of AI assisted outreach. So again, this will also save you time on manual research and message drafting. So again, you're not copying and pasting, but you can create a slew of different outreach messages that you can finesse, you can change, you can reconstruct any which way you want. But also this allows you to build personalized, engaging messages at scale. So instead of you just like typing in, and just drafting it yourself, you can ask ChatGPT to give you 10 different messages that are all around X, Y, and Z. And then you can go in, finesse them, change them. So now you have an overabundance of messages to send. But also this could lead to improved response rate and conversions, which we're all looking for, right? We don't want to just be sending messages and have no one respond. We want, again, the goal that you want is having 2 to 5 responses a week. And again, that could go up as you continue to tailor your messaging. And then again, we're looking to convert people into sales. Now, the last thing that it does, because again, we want to save time to show you a live look and then do Q&A. I know 2 people already submitted some questions. So if you do, just click on the Q&A box and please submit any and all questions that you have. Again, we're going to do that. And CRM, yeah, again, you can put that into the Q&A box. Also, it helps build stronger, more meaningful professional connections. So Nancy and I constantly talk about something called business allies. You want your referral network to be so super strong that you're having people sending people your way all the time. This happens to Nancy and I every single week. We get introductions every single week. And it could be to be on a podcast. It could be someone that's interested in any of our programs. Anything. You are looking to build that network on LinkedIn where you're supporting each other, you're referring people back and forth, but more importantly, you're creating those meaningful professional connections. So if that makes sense and if that's clear, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. Awesome. Just making sure. Nance?
Yep. All right. So now we're going to dig into one of my favorite parts, right? Is the AI driven content strategy. So anytime, okay, and we're going to kind of go through this pretty quick, right? Because we want to do a little live
look.
overview. And just so you guys know, again, we're dropping freebies today. We're not going to sell anything. Like we're not like leading up to a course or anything like that. This is literally
Just for you.
strategy for you to apply to your business. So, the AI driven content strategy and the way that I want you guys to always look at this, okay, as a marketer, as a person who works with a lot of clients, helping them plan out their content, It's important that we always start at that macro, right? That high level view. And we have to really think about, okay, and Scott and I do this every year. Actually, we kind of plan out our year, right? We look at quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. And first, we kind of go through and we think about what are the different things that we really want to promote. Okay. And I usually tell people, focus on maybe 4 big, what we call launches each year. And then in between, right, you can focus on other things. It could be focusing on growing your email list. It could be focusing on a certain service, or, if you guys do one-on-one, for example, you could spend the month really focusing on that. So my first step, right, is to really get that high level overall view and map out a year-long strategy. Okay. Now, using AI to do this is just magical. Okay. And that's what we're going to show you here shortly. So we don't even need to go through all the slides, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, the big thing is this. So, we help people, launch and grow their podcast. And just give you an example. The common question that we get is, well, how do I plan out my podcast content? What do I do? Well, we showed people in real time, you can literally pump in there as long as you know like the name of your podcast and the theme of it, just using this as an example. So we had someone that recently launched a podcast around the benefits of having interns help them with their business. So basically, she pumped into ChatGPT. I have a podcast called X, Y, and Z, and it focuses on helping businesses grow and scale through the means of interns. Can you give me 52 different topics to talk about on a podcast revolved around my podcast and what it's all about? And here's who it's geared towards with 3 bullet point talking points. We hit enter, and literally it spilled out an entire year's worth of content that she could use for her podcast episodes, her blog, or even her LinkedIn newsletter. Right?
Yeah.
So when you use the AI-driven content strategy, and going back to Nancy's example about using this editorial calendar, it really then allows you to stay better aligned with your business goals and your objectives, but also it allows for the flexibility for adjustments in real-time performance and feedback. We bob and weave all the time. When we build out our editorial calendar and our launch calendar, sometimes things just don't add up. We want to kind of pivot and move into a different direction. So we have a way to do that. But also, when you regularly review and optimize that editorial calendar using AI-driven insights, it will allow you to better take that 10,000-foot view of what is working, what's not working, what you need to do more of, and what you need to do less of.
Yep. Why do you keep looking at me?
Do you want to?
You're good. Yep.
Yeah, Nance.
Awesome. So yeah, we're going to skip through the slides actually at this point. Kind of just want to do a little overview, right? So we can actually get our hands in here. So first we're going to go to Perplexity because I do want to show you real quick for those who have not used this tool before. So when you actually open up, and this is just perplexity.ai, right? You can just type it right in the URL search and go there. In fact, Scott hasn't even signed up for it, isn't even a member. So we're kind of testing it out on his computer. I use this all the time. But one way, again, that you can use it is to maybe type, in to get some industry updates. So
go back into the chat, guys. Tell us what industry you're a part of. We'll give you kind of like some ideas based off of some things that you do. HR.
Okay, industry updates. Let's see, in the world of healthcare. All right, so I just typed in, share some industry updates in the world of healthcare. Okay, so it's actually pulling together information from recent articles, okay, which it actually cites here. Boop, 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 boop. And it actually summarizes it all for you. Okay, so it's got some of the highlights, right? Change in healthcare cyber attack, Medicare coverage expansion, provider challenges with cybersecurity, revenue impact, right? So a lot of different things. And one of my favorite things as well is it also offers suggested follow-up content. Okay, so for example, what are the latest trends in healthcare technology? What are the current challenges facing the healthcare industry? What are the latest policy changes in healthcare? So I can just click on that. And it now expands right on that different topic. Okay. And it just gives me, again, a nice little summary, and it gives me the sources. Okay. So again, how I would use something like this, if I'm posting on LinkedIn, maybe one of my posts each week, which, people go on LinkedIn to, either learn tips, they go on there for some research, they want
Updates.
educational, right? Things like that. This would be a great post. Hey guys, I've got some updates here, in the industry. Here's some things that we're facing. Even think about polls. Okay. Here are some of the key challenges facing the healthcare industry. Which one, really
You resonate
resonate
most with.
most with? And you can put workforce challenges, financial pressures, so on and so forth.
If this is kind of like expanding your minds a little bit, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. And yeah, Sue says, wow. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, this will blow your mind when you start to really dig into this. I mean, it's a rabbit hole that's okay to go down because it gives you so much.
Yeah, it's really funny, guys. You can even, and just talking about it from a personal use standpoint, you can even say, I'm going on a trip, to Florida on the following dates. What should I pack? I mean, it's really ridiculous. It'll pull up all the temperature. It'll even suggest different clothes to wear. It's really cool. So highly recommend you guys play with that. Now I'm going to switch back over to ChatGPT. Okay. So again, you're looking at ChatGPT 4, right? And you can always toggle, right? As long as you have the paid version, you can toggle between the 4 and the 3.5. Make sure that if you are paying, always make sure it's on the ChatGPT 4, okay? Because that's going to give you, again, the best output possible, okay? Now, you want to open up a new chat. Okay, obviously we're opened up a new one here. And one thing that I want to show you, okay? In fact, I want to give you, because my prompts are a little long at times, but I also share this with you in the workbook or the guide that you guys can download, which, by the way, guys, it does have a double opt-in, which just means when you guys sign up, you enter your email just to make sure everyone has a valid email, all that good stuff. It is going to ask you to verify that email and that you're able to receive our emails. Okay.
Yeah, it's a double opt-in because we don't want people being spammed and stuff.
Spammies
So
or anything
you're going to
like
get a
that.
double opt-in to subscribe to the Time to Grow, which is our company.
Yep.
So you know that it's coming from us.
You got it. Okay. So, what I'm going to type in here, and again, this is also, in your guide recommended. Remember, the more information that you give ChatGPT, the better the output.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for all intents and purposes, and just for timing, I'm going to give it a little bit of information. Okay. I'm going to say, I am a LinkedIn consultant. Okay. I work with coaches and consultants and teach them how to grow and scale their businesses using LinkedIn. Okay. Now, I gave it a little bit of information. Okay. I told it who I help. Okay. At the very least, right? Who I am, kind of, who I help and what I do. Okay. I'm going to put, I offer consulting packages and a signature course. Okay. All right. So I gave it a little more info. Now, please use this information okay, for my business in this chat. Okay. And now I'm going to put, you are an expert. This is going to sound real crazy, but you are an expert copywriter. I'm telling it, right? It's specialty. You are an expert copywriter who specializes in writing social media content. Okay. Now use this information to create an editorial calendar for 12 months for my business. Okay. Now, again, more specific, the better. And I'm going to actually copy this, guys, and put it in the chat for you guys. So you have it. All right.
Yeah.
So, and I've also put it in the guide as well. So use this information to create an editorial calendar for 12 months for my business. Now, the other details I want to give it is, okay, please map out the full 12-month editorial calendar. Okay. Include monthly themes. Okay. Include weekly themes and daily post ideas for each month and week. I would like to post on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay. And again, I'm going to copy this because I know this
Yeah,
is quite a bit
we're gonna
here.
throw it right into the
Just so
chat.
you guys can save this in your notes. Okay. And guys, just so you know, this changes a little bit every time I do it, just because I add in some things. So I would like to post Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I would like Monday's post to be a video. I'm just gonna say an educational video. Let's see, Wednesday, a poll question for LinkedIn, and Friday, an article. Okay, so let's see how much it really captures from that. And again, I'm going to share this in the chat. Now, what I will tell you guys, when you start macro, okay, and you
Well,
can specify social media, absolutely.
yeah,
You
you
can
could
say,
say Instagram,
yep,
Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, like you can tailor this. And so this could spill out everything just cater to LinkedIn. You can then go back and say, please rewrite this for Facebook content, or please rewrite this for my YouTube channel content.
yep. And so, again, I know we're going to ask a lot of questions in the Q&A and everything, but this is just giving you ideas for topics, right? So if you you still have to create, right, the content. So if you're worried about copywriting, things like that, look here, it says Monday, do a video on crafting a compelling LinkedIn headline. So Scott, as the expert in his space, can do a short video, 2 to 5 minutes, all about crafting a compelling LinkedIn headline. Okay. So Wednesday suggestion, poll on what section of your LinkedIn profile you struggle with most. Okay. So, again, this is the thing that I want you to note is that this is the framework. Okay. This is the buns that we mentioned of the hamburger, and you guys are the meat in the middle.
So
Okay.
guys, just look at this. So this did March, this did July. Like, I mean, it went over and over and over.
Yep, but this is what I want to share with you guys. And we're not going to keep pasting, the prompts. In fact, what I want to share with you, this is in your guide. Okay, I do one of this couple of the sample prompts. Oh, and let's see. I see that didn't post to everyone. Here we go. All right, so that should go out to everyone, guys. Again, I'm going to share it once, and then you guys can
It's also going to be
grab it in the guide as well.
be in the guide. That
So anyway, so what I want to point out though, because many people go, well, it only gave me January, right? It's going to do that. Now, the reason why we start macro is because then we can go back and start to work it on a micro level. Okay. So it already did January. I feel pretty good about this. I like it. Now you can say, please, and I would say, please, just, I'm just going to put, okay, break out February by week and day. Okay. So it didn't do that before. Now I'm asking it, please go back, right, and break it out by week and day. Okay. So now it's going back through and it's giving me more, right? Next step, I would go in and I would say, now break out March. Okay. Now break out April, so on and so forth. Now, the reason why it does that is because, again, it's a lot of output. So you got to kind of play with it a little bit. You got to finesse it. Now, if you go through and you're like, ugh, I don't like that topic for February, just say, hey, can we talk about a different thing? Or maybe if you had something in mind, because maybe you're launching a course or a program or something like that, you can say, can we actually focus on this instead? Okay. So again, this is giving you, right, and helping you with that content, creation process and planning process. Now, we're gonna, for sake of time, guys, I just also want to share with you, we do talk about this in the guide as well, because we want to make sure that you knew how to do this as well. You can take, so if you guys are in the mood, the spirits, really moving you, and you're like, yes, I want to now start working on my videos. You can take a specific topic. So let's say you want to dive into February, and you could actually take one of these and you could say, please provide an outline for the video script for this topic. Okay. And I just pasted the topic in there for one of the Monday videos. And so now it's going to say, okay, great. Now here's a little outline of what you can talk about on that particular topic. Again, I cannot reiterate this enough. You can see it's giving you a guide, right? It's saying briefly introduce the topic.
it's the
Share
buns
a
of the
quick
hamburger.
personal story or statistic, define what an ideal client means, so on and so forth. So again, it's you sharing this information, but AI is giving you, right? It's removing that writer's block or that, that block where we're kind of stuck and not sure what to talk about. but it's diving in deeper. Okay. And you can do this with all of the content, even the poll content. You can ask it to break it out with the answers, with the specific questions, and so on and so forth.
So if everybody is clear on this so far, just drop a Y or a yes in the chat. If you found this helpful, just type yes in all caps, just so we know, because again, we can dive as deep as you want into this, but we don't want to overwhelm you. That's
Yeah.
why we created this guide, because it's going to give you these prompts. And Megan says wicked helpful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we want to spend the last 9 or so minutes, and Dave said he just bought this. Yeah, it's the ChatGPT 4. You know, we don't work for them.
We don't work for
Yeah,
them.
we don't
make
work
any
for
money.
them. We're not an affiliate. Like,
Yeah, we just share with what has worked for us.
for us. Yep.
Yes.
So again, Tatiana is going to drop in the chat again the link to get our guide. So we do have some time for questions now. So anyone that wants to add them in, I'm going to kind of just fire them off. And then basically we can just go from there. So yeah, the slides will be available. So Michelle asked that, so that is okay. So someone wrote, I still don't get why you would use both ChatGPT and Perplexity. Why not only one at a time?
Oh, you can combine. So again, we kind of wanted to keep this kind of basic, but you guys can, if you have the paid version of ChatGPT, you can actually use them together. So again, this is the very most simple way to kind of use it if you do not have the paid version of Chat or Perplexity. So that's the only reason why we kind of shared it that way.
All right, so that's done. Okay. How much is the Perplexity AI subscription if you do want to pay for it?
I don't know. I haven't used it yet, and I've used the heck out of it. So I would just say, because for the sake of, we obviously like to keep things, low cost and things like that. So I would just use the free version. See how you
also
can.
$20.
Okay, $20 per month. So start to use it again. Utilize it in your business. Make sure that it's included in your workflow, and then go from there before you need to.
Gabriella asked about, can you talk more about sentiment analysis?
Sentiment analysis.
Now, Gabriella, you can type in the regular chat. Is that in regards to our slides, or is that something in regards to your business? It is difficult to finesse the language to get exactly what you're looking for. Yeah, I mean, Kelly, it's going to take time, and that's the thing. In the very beginning, there is a little bit of a learning curve. Your slides. Do you remember talking about sentiment analysis?
I don't remember exactly. It might be probably in the messaging, possibly in the messaging. But yeah, I mean, again, you can use ChatGPT. You can go back to the drawing board. You can ask it to rephrase things. You can say, can you share this, a little more casually? You can work with it to really sound more like yourself. Again, I don't want to throw too many tools at you, but there is a tool called Claude.ai, which again, it is very, very popular right now. And a lot of copywriters are even starting to use it because it does sound more human. And it obviously, the output is pretty awesome there. So
John asked, what are your thoughts on using Grammarly?
I love Grammarly.
Yeah, use it.
Yeah.
It really helps.
Yeah.
Really helps. Wendy asked, how current is the free Perplexity.ai info versus ChatGPT 3.5 or 4?
So I would say Perplexity.ai is basically like searching on Google, right?
So
It's going to
very
pull up, the most current information. ChatGPT 4 is connected also to current. Okay. So again, it might not share things or show it to you in the same way. So again, there are, ways, obviously you can just plain use ChatGPT 4 altogether and not even have to use Perplexity. But I just like, again, I like using Perplexity. I like how it outputs things. And even from a research standpoint, having all those sources all in one place is awesome.
And Jim, yes, there's going to be a replay sent out. Which CRM and newsletter works well with AI? Which ones do you use?
Scott?
I mean, CRM wise, so we actually use Trello for our CRM. That's how I kind of keep things flowing that way. As far as newsletters, I really only focus on my LinkedIn newsletter. So I do, take a lot of the content that I use on LinkedIn, expand it through ChatGPT, pump it into a Microsoft Word document, expand my own voice, my thoughts, copy that, and then throw it into my LinkedIn newsletter. Slides, I'm not sure. I think this is going to be recorded, so you'll be able to go back through that. Is there a possibility that AI will actually generate wrong information based on corrupt data? So interestingly enough, Nancy can share her thoughts really quickly. Sometimes when I put information into ChatGPT 4, I will actually tell ChatGPT, please don't make anything up, because sometimes it will make things up.
Yeah, and one thing that I will share as well, and I don't know if this is just the paid version or not, but can you actually show how you can update your settings? So are we still sharing the screen?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So yeah, so if you guys can see, okay, I'm just gonna click down here on Scott's profile where there's a spot here now that's customized chat GPT. Okay. So what this means is that you can actually put custom instructions in here so that you don't have to keep reminding it, right, to get certain responses. And you can also say, like, don't ever use this word. Okay. So they actually added this on after so many people were like, oh my gosh, it just doesn't sound like me. And they're using the word delve too much and transform and all these certain words. So you can actually, and it has a little guide here where if you hover over it on your computer, it'll pop up. But it has some direction on how you can actually, oh, there it is, how it can provide better responses. And then even where, how would you like ChatGPT to respond? Maybe formal. We're very casual in how we talk. We're not very like, super, structured and super professional. So obviously we would put this as a more casual tone. So keep that in mind that that is something that you can update, again, on customized ChatGPT.
And then Howard had a great question. Let me just get this out of here. Howard asked, is there a risk of proprietary content shared on AI platforms being applied to other users on the same AI platforms?
You're looking at me?
Yeah, do you have any thoughts on
Yeah,
that or
so
no?
I mean, I know for sure, I know the enterprise version of ChatGPT, one thing that they were really big about was that, all your information is just like in your bubble. So I don't know like a whole ton as far as, I guess the
Proprietary
proprietary
content.
content. Yeah, and in fact, I'm learning so much. In fact, I listen to I try to stay up to date on the latest AI trends, but one thing that came up was, copywriting and certain things that you can do. And I know someone mentioned Grammarly beforehand. And, one thing that you can do is if you do write an article and maybe you're using a lot of AI to kind of, like add topics or things like that. Again, we always recommend adding your own, right, spin on things, your own stories, things like that. So make sure that you're adding all that in, but you can actually paste your article in Grammarly, and they do have a plagiarism checker. So, again, if you're publishing like a research paper or, writing a book or something of that nature, they've come out with some really good tools as well. In fact, Originality, I think .io, I think it's either originality.ai or io. It actually allows you to type in or like paste an article and it'll tell you, it'll give you a ratio on how much it thinks it's AI. So a lot of people are doing that now, schools, with students, lots of other things. So we can't say this enough, right? Again, make sure that you're putting your own information in there. Make sure that you're sharing, the meat in the middle and that you're using AI to really give you that framework.
Yep.
Okay.
So again, Tatiana is going to drop in the chat one last time the free resource. So again, I know we threw a lot at you. That's why we created this free resource guide. So it'll have some of those prompts in there. And we just invite you to just play around with ChatGPT 4 and Perplexity. It's a little bit art, it's a little bit science, and you're kind of finding that place in between. And we always go back to something that T.R. Becker says. Every master was once a disaster. So in the very beginning, there is a learning curve, but that's completely normal. But we just want to, obviously thank Tatiana for putting this together, inviting us to obviously share everything with you guys today. We're just really grateful for all of you for attending here. We know you can be anywhere you want today, but you're here with us. Again, if anyone wants to connect further, obviously you can. And again, please stay connected to us. You can find us on LinkedIn, follow us, connect with us. Obviously, with the free resource guide, you'll be getting our weekly newsletter if you would like to, just to stay up to date on all the industry trends. So everyone, please enjoy the rest of your day. Love and gratitude, and we'll see everyone next time. Bye, everyone.